Hi, everyone. Today we are going to start a new chapter entitled Compound Interest. It is a little bit different from simple interest. Okay? Compound interest. Why they called it as compound interest, and what is the difference between compound interest and simple interest? Normally, in this paragraph, we want to define the compound interest. If the interest earned each year on an investment is reinvested, what we mean by reinvested? So we add the investment or the interest that we gained, okay? At the end of the year, we added to the original principal to obtain a new principal to invest for the next year. So normally it is for this reason we call it as compound interest, because with the simple interest we use the principal, the original principal, as like basic for us, and like not unchangeable, like principal unchangeable. We account the interest on the original principal. That for the simple interest, but for the compound interest, at the uh, at the end of each year, we add the interest, the gained interest, to the principal of that we have on the beginning of this year. Okay, so the size of the principal on which interest is calculated increases each year. Okay, it is a direct consequence for what we are doing here with the compound interest. Okay, because we are adding at the end of each year, we are adding the gained interest. So of course we start the new year with a new principle to invest. So as I show here in this diagram, we have initial principle in the beginning of the first year. Okay, after that, the new principal, the sum of the principal that we have with the interest earned from investing the first principal, and so on. Okay, so how to use or to calculate the compound interest for a given principal at a given rate per annum, and so on. So we will use in the first example, we are going to explain the progressive way. What we mean by the progressive way. So I will show you using this table and some steps like the following. So normally we have the principal because they told us $6,000 is invested. So normally it is the principal, it is P for 3 years. So normally it is the time, the period of investment. 5% per annum. So per annum, per year, we have at 5% interest, because we know that at the end of each year, we count and we calculate the interest to add it to the original principal. Okay, so compounded yearly. So normally we have a per annum. We should take care of this one, per annum yearly. So we have a convenience here. Okay, we have somehow a balance because we have the same unit, 3 years per annum, compound yearly. So normally we can calculate blindly what we are going to do. Okay, because we have all the given, we have all the information inside in the same unit. So calculate the value of the investment after 3 years. The value of the investment. First of all, in the beginning of the first year, we have the investment equal to $6,000. Okay, so normally we can draw a table like we see here in the right of the screen. Okay, we have a table. In this table, because the period of investment is 3 years, so we can go to draw or to put three rows are sufficient. Each row is to find and to calculate the principal and the interest and the balance at end of each year. So 3 rows are sufficient for us because the period of investment is 3 years. Okay, so the principal in the beginning of the first year is 6,000. So normally the interest is still 5% on the principal that we have. So normally if we count 5% from 6,000, so normally it is equal or of 6,000. So normally it is like 5% from 100 of so we multiply it by the principal 6,000 to obtain the interest of investing this principal for the whole year equal to 300. So at the end of this year, with the balance, we add the interest to the principal that we have to obtain 6,300. So normally this balance at the end of this year should be counted as the principal that we start with the new or the second year of investment. So we start with 6,300, and the 5%, it is a 5 from 1%, 100 of the new principal, so 6,300. Okay, so it is the new investment, the new interest for the second year equal to 315. So we can remark that in the compound interest, using the compound interest, the interest grows with the years of investment. But with the simple interest, the interest remains constant. These are the main differences between the compound and the simple interest, and so on. We add the interest plus the principal to obtain as balance $6,615 that we use it as a new principal for the third year of investment. And also we calculate the 500, the 5% of this amount to obtain a $330.75, and so on. We added. So normally at the end of 3 years of the end, at the end of the period of investment, we obtain $6,945.75, which is the amount, the new amount, the total amount of interest of investment, the value of the investment. Good. They ask us to calculate the amount of interest earned the whole during or along the period of investment. So normally we started with 6,000, we finished with 6,945.75. So normally the amount is the total amount of interest. So normally we calculate the difference between the large value here minus the principal, the original principal that we started with for the first year of investment, to obtain $945.75, and so on. So normally the following exercises are for talk about the same idea. Okay, So it is easy. Normally, these questions are the same, very similar to what I calculated before. And we have another way. The second method we can call as using constant multiplier. How to use constant multiplier and what we mean by constant multiplier. Normally, when we say principal plus 500 of the principal, so normally we have a 1, if we count it, is we have a 1 here, 1 principal plus 5 over 100, 0.05. So normally we have a like terms because here we have a 1 principal, like 1 apple, and 0.05 apple. So when we add it, we will obtain 1.05 apple. So normally the multiplier here is 105, or we can say it 105%, so are equivalent. So each year we can remark that each year the new principal plus 5% of the new principal plus 5% of the new principal. So we can remark that the constant multiplier is 1.05, or equivalent to the rate 105%. So we use it to calculate. So we can easily say that 6,000, we multiply it by 105, 1.05 to obtain $6,300. And again, the new principal is $6,300. We multiply it by the constant multiplier, and we obtain $6,615. Again, this is the new principal for us. We multiplied by the multiplier 1.05 to obtain finally $6,945.75. And this is the final amount, the final value of the investment. And if we want to calculate the total amount of interest after the period of investment, we calculate the difference between this large value minus the amount that we start with the investment at the beginning of the first year. So normally we calculate $6,945.75 minus the 6,000 to obtain $945.75, again with the second method. So we can use both methods, the progressive method as I nominated, and also the using constant multiplier. So as you will see in the following exercises and remaining exercises, that we have the same idea. For example, find the amount to which 5,000, so normally grows in 3 years. So normally this is the principal. This is P. Okay, the principal in 3 years. So normally we want to count the new value of investment at the end of each year at 4% per annum and compound it yearly. So first of all, we ensure that we are using the same unit. So good. So 4% give us that the principal plus the 400 of the principal. So normally the multiplier is 104%, or equivalent to as multiplier 1.04. So it is easily calculated by multiplying 1.04 the multiplier by 5,000 to obtain the amount of investment at the end of the first year. And again, we take it as the new principal that we begin with for the second year of investment, and we multiply it by the multiplier, the constant multiplier, and again we use it to obtain finally $5,624.32. And to obtain the amount of interest, easy. We calculate the difference between the largest one, the amount at the end of the period of investment, minus the original principle that we began with the investment. Okay, so please continue to assess yourself with the rest of the exercises. Thank you for listening, and bye-bye. Have a nice day.